Everyone at Ontario Shores has been rising up to ensure the delivery of quality mental health care throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Through Rising Up Conversations, we are proud to shine a light on individuals, teams, and disciplines who continue to go above and beyond to care for our patients and each other during these challenging times.
Welcome to Rising Up Conversations. My name is Daryl Mathers. I'm with the Communications Department here at Ontario Shores. As we film today, we are physically distant. We're using masks and doing everything we can to limit the spread of COVID-19, while also celebrating the wonderful work of our people and our organization over the last year during the pandemic. I'm pleased to welcome Allison Stevens, Recovery College leader and peer support supervisor, to talk a little bit about Recovery College. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
And we're going to start just around Recovery College. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is at Ontario Shores and what life was like, before the pandemic?
Sure. Okay. First of all, thank you for having me to be able to talk about all the work that my team has done throughout the pandemic. So the Recovery College at Ontario Shores was established in 2016. Basically, what it is it's a complement to traditional kind of assessment and treatment in mental health. So we offer courses that are peer-driven, so people who have lived experience work alongside those with professional experience to offer a variety of courses, and our patients then become students, right? So that helps with identity outside of a mental health diagnosis. And people come together to be able to elect courses that they choose to learn new things, anything kind of ranging from, attending a course on coping with it, panic and anxiety, right through, art cafe, some leisure health and wellness programming, vocational services kind of programs like return to work courses, and other things like tell your story. So making sense of sort of someone's experience and having them have opportunities to share that if they so choose. All of our courses run in semesters, so we have 3 semesters each year typically. We're still actually offering our courses that way post-COVID. But pre-COVID, what you had asked, our courses would be offered in person on site. Our courses used to be offered to only registered inpatients and outpatients of Ontario Shores, but we are happy to announce, as part of our collaboration with CMHA National, that our courses are now open to anybody. So ideally, we'll have families, community members, staff members, patients, and really anybody to come together with a shared interest in recovery and mental health kind of wellness, resiliency building courses.
So before the pandemic, when things were normal, if you will. So when the pandemic hit, what did that mean for Recovery College, and how did you adapt?
So I think it was a real challenge because like many kind of ever-changing and evolving situations that were really day-to-day, we had to kind of abruptly stop our courses that were in person at the hospital. But we were very lucky actually because it was close to the end of our natural break, which would have been the end of a semester anyway. So we were able to really use that time in between our next semesters to own in on how we could keep connected with our students and how we could, think of new ways of offering programming and ways that we could keep people connected in sort of the new world, right? So we had to get pretty creative. We leaned on a lot of our community partners, which often already offer virtual services. Recovery College, again, not being clinical in nature, we didn't have to use the same infrastructure like OTN, Ontario Health Network. We were able to use Zoom, which is more maybe accessible by pretty much anywhere in the community as long as someone has Wi-Fi. So we were able to collaborate with our community partners, learn about sort of what the differences were in virtual course offerings, what would be important to our students to help reduce barriers for them to be able to access, what kind of things do we have to take into consideration in a group setting, because one of the real outcomes that we hope to see in the Recovery College is building connections. So we didn't want people to feel lost in a virtual space. So ensuring that we learn some of those virtual learning principles so that our peer support staff and other facilitators in the college could confidently say that they didn't feel like anybody was lost in the virtual room, and that everyone had an opportunity to kind of connect and talk and and learn in a new way together, I think was probably the biggest transition for us.
And what has been the reaction to the new Recovery College model?
Yeah. I think overall, we do a lot of evaluation in the Recovery College because we really pride ourselves in taking our students' feedback and having them really participate in how we build and evolve the college. So I'm pretty confident to say that the majority of our students have had a really positive experience with the virtual kind of learning, that with that pivot. That being said, I think the consensus still seems to be that they would, it's a great thing to have to keep connected, particularly in this really isolating time. But they would prefer to be able to come back into class and be together, and have that pre-class kind of collaboration and the post-class connections that, happen outside of our classrooms. That being said, there also was a smaller group represented that, shared with us that they actually preferred the virtual learning. Really barrier-free. People were able to access from their own home, which they maybe feel more comfortable with. Again, I mentioned that we open to anybody, so we have people accessing our Recovery College virtually from, Saskatoon and Calgary and all kind of areas in Canada. So it's been really lovely to kind of be able to branch out and learn, about different demographic areas and, how Recovery College, we all come together with that shared passion for learning about recovery and, sharing, everyone sharing their own experiences, in what keeps them well. So it's been really definitely a learning curve, but very well received. And I think that what we have learned really is that moving post-COVID and when we're able to welcome our students back on site in in-person classrooms, that we probably will continue with sort of a hybrid model and have some options as well for virtual classes ongoingly.
So when you think back of where you were and kind of the journey in between and where you've landed in terms of providing this service to people across the country now, what gives you the most pride about what you've accomplished in the last year?
I think it's just pride in, and being so proud of how everyone came together. So not only, seeing how the staff at the, on site have come together to just really embrace and try new things. Virtual learning is not something that any of us were comfortable with at the beginning. And again, on the other side too, it's not something that our students were overly comfortable with, and some were more than others. So we all, again, in nature of what the Recovery College is, we all learned from one another. We all shared, patience with one another as we navigated it together. So, I'm so proud to be a part of it. I'm so proud of our peer team. I'm so proud of the students who sort of took that risk with us and tried something new that's outside of their comfort zone, and now are actively engaging in programming and staying connected and sharing their experiences and challenges through this pandemic. But just that notion of us all being there together and experiencing it together has been great.
You just mentioned everybody working together to make this happen. What was it like behind the scenes, your team or people in the organization, how badly did they want to make this happen for people, even if they were uncomfortable with the technology or the, what they had to do to make it happen?
I would say, yeah, it's kind of that blind leap of faith, but I would say right from our senior management team, we're so supportive. And what do you need to make this happen? What protocols do we need to, put in place? I mean, separately, we had Recovery College, in-person programming happening in one of our semesters on site for inpatients only as well. So how do we, we had lots of support from our leadership group, lots of support from infection prevention control, like I said, some of our community partners, and giving us the skills and the tools to be able to be successful and get this off the ground. But there absolutely was a lot of support and motivation to, and I think acknowledgement of how important it is to keep connected, and if not, definitely always, but if not more so during the pandemic, for sure.
Well, thank you for being here today and for sharing, the journey of Recovery College and what it's been like for the last year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.